billionaire's son was born paralyzed, trapped in silence and pain. Doctors failed, hope died. Then one poor little girl wandered into their mansion by accident. What she found didn't just change the boy's fate. It exposed a secret buried for years. Ethan Cooper was one of the richest men in the city. He owned tech companies, luxury estates, and a private island, but despite everything, he was the loneliest man alive. His 12-year-old son, Liam, was born paralyzed from the waist down. Ethan spent millions trying to heal him, flying doctors from across the world. Yet nothing changed. Every night, Ethan sat by Liam's bedside, whispering, "One day, son, I promise you'll walk." But that promise felt empty with every passing year. Then one sunny afternoon, an 8-year-old girl named Emma appeared outside the mansion gates, barefoot, holding a basket of flowers. She was poor, innocent, and full of life. She had no idea her kindness was about to uncover a truth that would change everything Ethan and Liam believed about destiny. Liam Cooper lived in a world made of silence and marble. The mansion had walls of glass and gold, but none of them brought warmth. His days were filled with therapy sessions, robotic machines, and endless doctor visits. He was smart, curious even, but his body refused to move beyond the chair. While other kids played football in the streets, Liam watched from behind his window, his eyes filled with quiet sadness. One afternoon, while his caretaker read him a story, Liam noticed movement outside the tall gates. A little girl was selling flowers to passing cars, her clothes worn but her smile brighter than the sun. Their eyes met for a moment, and she waved. He hesitated, then raised his hand slowly in return. That small wave was the first friendly gesture he'd shared in years. The next day she returned, not to sell flowers, but to see him. Emma was fearless. She pushed open the side gate when no one was watching and tiptoed inside. Liam's caretaker gasped, ready to scold her, but Liam stopped him. "It's okay," he said softly. Emma looked around in awe. The fountains, the gardens, the statues, it was like a dreamland to her. Yet when she looked at Liam, she didn't see a rich boy in a chair. She saw someone lonely. "I'm Emma," she said cheerfully. "Do you want to play?" Liam laughed bitterly. "I can't walk." Emma frowned. "Then we'll play sitting. Games don't need legs, just fun." For the first time in years, Liam smiled. They played simple games, cards, stories, even guessing clouds from the garden window. Time flew. When Ethan saw his son laughing, he froze in the hallway. He hadn't heard that sound in years. He asked his staff, "Who is that girl?" No one knew, but Ethan felt something change in the air, a spark of hope. Days turned into weeks. Emma visited the mansion daily, bringing wildflowers, jokes, and stories from her village. She told Liam about her school, her struggles, and her dreams. Liam shared his drawings, his books, and his love for stars. Together they built a friendship that ignored the gap between luxury and poverty. Ethan watched them quietly from a distance. The more he saw his son's laughter, the more grateful he became. He decided to invite Emma's family for dinner, but when his assistant searched, they found her home barely standing, a wooden hut by the river. Ethan was shocked. That little girl who brought joy to his son lived with nothing. He decided to secretly support her family, sending groceries and medicine without telling anyone. But what Emma did next was beyond kindness. She gave Ethan something he could never buy: truth. One rainy afternoon, Emma and Liam explored the garden while Ethan was away. Behind a row of hedges, they found a locked glass building covered in vines, a greenhouse no one had entered for years. Curious, Emma peeked through the cracked door and gasped. Inside were dusty files, hospital boxes, and old medical charts with Liam's name on them. "Why are these here?" she asked. Liam's face turned pale. I don't know. My dad said all my files were with the doctors." Emma, always brave, crawled through a broken window and started reading. The papers revealed shocking notes. Liam's condition wasn't natural. During his birth, there had been a surgical error that caused nerve damage. But the doctor, Ethan's old friend, had covered it up, claiming Liam was born this way. Emma's heart raced. She had uncovered something terrible, a lie buried under years of trust and money. That evening, when Ethan returned, Emma couldn't keep it to herself. She ran to him, clutching the dusty papers. "Sir, I found something. About Liam." At first, Ethan was confused. Then he read the reports. His hands trembled. There it was. Signatures, dates, even payments to silence hospital staff. His closest friend, Dr. Harris, had hidden the truth for money. Ethan felt his world collapse. All these years, My son suffered because of a lie. Tears filled his eyes as he turned to Liam, who sat quietly, watching his father break down. "Dad," Liam whispered, "it's not your fault." Ethan hugged him tightly, unable to speak. The next morning, Ethan confronted Dr. Harris. The man confessed everything. The error during delivery, the cover-up, the hush money. "You were desperate for answers," Harris said coldly. "I gave you hope and you paid for it." Ethan fired him immediately and vowed never to let greed rule again. Ethan contacted specialists across the world again, but this time honest ones. New scans showed that Liam's nerves could still respond to therapy if done correctly. There was hope. Emma stayed by Liam's side every day, cheering him through the pain. When he cried in frustration, she held his hand. "One more try," she'd whisper. "I know you can." Weeks turned into months. Liam's muscles started responding. Tiny movements at first, then stronger ones. Ethan recorded every moment, often crying in silence. His mansion, once filled with emptiness, now echoed with laughter and determination. One morning, as sunlight filled the therapy room, Liam's legs trembled. And then he stood. Everyone froze. Ethan fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. Emma screamed with joy. Liam laughed and took his first unsteady step toward her. It wasn't just recovery. It was a miracle born from love and truth. After Liam's full recovery, Ethan wanted to reward the little girl who made it possible. He visited Emma's home himself. The hut was small, her mother sick, her father jobless. Ethan promised them a new home, education for Emma, and a fresh start. But when he handed her a golden envelope filled with money, she refused. "I don't need that," she said softly. "Liam is my friend. That's enough." Ethan was speechless. In a world where everyone wanted something, this little girl asked for nothing. He hugged her gently. "You've given me more than money could ever buy," he whispered. "You gave me my son back." From that day, Emma became part of their family, not as a guest, but as someone precious. A year later, Liam and Emma ran through the same garden where they once met. The sun shone bright and laughter filled the air. Ethan watched from the balcony, his heart full. His son was walking. His home was alive again. He looked up at the sky and smiled. "Miracles," he whispered, "don't always come from science. They come from hearts pure enough to believe." Emma's laughter echoed like music, reminding him that sometimes angels don't have wings. They come as little girls with wildflowers in their hands and kindness in their hearts. And the secret Emma discovered didn't just save a boy, it healed a family. As the years passed, Ethan never forgot the day a barefoot little girl walked into his life and gave him back his world. Liam grew stronger, healthier, and more confident, always keeping Emma by his side as his best friend and sister at heart. Together, they often visited the old greenhouse, now restored and filled with blooming flowers, symbols of healing and truth. Ethan turned it into a small foundation in Emma's name, helping children with disabilities who couldn't afford treatment. Whenever people asked him how he found faith again, he simply smiled and said, "A child taught me." Every sunset reminded him that wealth can build walls, but love can open doors that even miracles walk through. And in that quiet garden, laughter never faded again. It only grew stronger, carried by the hearts that once refused to give up on hope.